Hello, YouTubers, desk collectors, foose fanatics, and hot rod fans alike. I'm Jared White, the J-Man 63. Today I know I've got a video y'all are going to like that's probably going to get a lot of views, more than likely, I'm guessing. Today's review is of the awesome Chip Foose Hemisphere, which, as we know, was an awesome SEMA show car. And unfortunately, I had one small issue with this impression when I got it. The top part of it had come apart. I managed to get it glued back together, except for that one little issue. A little bit of gap filler would fix that, but I'm not going to bother with it too much because it's just a nice little display model. Obviously, we're going to start with Hemisphere first. We'll start with Impression second. This raw metal piece being one of the cooler pieces of hot rod fandom that everybody seems to enjoy. Now, in case people are wondering, this is not 1/24 scale. This is a 1/20th scale. And these cars are pretty decent for what they are. I'm not expecting a ton of detail. They come in nice boxes that are green and kind of an interesting box they come with. But anyway, onto the exterior Hemisphere. Very nice headlights. There is no steering or suspension. They're just straight axles, so they're almost kind of like a Jada in a way, but with a little more detail than most Jada cars have. But these are actually pretty darn cool. The Hemisphere, I got this one for $50. I think I got Impression for $50, which was not bad. Kind of cool the way this is done with a full glass roof. I love this kind of look with a full glass roof, and these are going to be on a permanent part of my display because I like Chip Foose so much. Very cool pieces. If you are interested, pick one of these up for $50 because it's not a bad deal. Anyway, underneath the bonnet, I said bonnet, I should say hood, but this is the front end here, and you see the suspension. They actually did a reasonably nice job underneath here. And inside the interior, I might be saying this because I'm a Foose fan, but I guess you could say I'm biased because I followed Foose for a long time. Look at how nice the interior. The interior is actually not too bad. Not as nice as the Yap Ming I reviewed, but it is pretty nice. And it's not bad. It's about what you would expect on a 1/20th scale. Of course, there are 1/24 scale that are going to be a little smaller and a little nicer, but still, look at the nice wiring job underneath this Hemi motor. Very cool. Yes, it might just be a flat plate, but it is still pretty nicely done. And there actually is a little bit of a trunk in here, which is kind of cool. And I've opened this door. Now I'll open this side door. Wait. Nice steering wheel. No steering, of course. This is all just a static model. These are pretty much meant to roll. They're almost were built and billed as kids' toys in a way. They are still cool, though. In my opinion, if you want a nice budget model of the Hemisphere, this is going to be the way to go. M2 has not even done a 1/24 scale Hemisphere, so they've got a little bit of a leg up there. Underneath, it's very relatively plain, but at least they have an oil pan. And then the nice part is you can actually see that they've got suspension C-arms underneath here. So all in all, the underside is actually reasonably well done. It's not exactly the epitome of undercarriage detailing, but it is there, and it actually is nice. So what do I give this model on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to say about a 7 or an 8. more than the average M2 machine that I have seen. And this is a really nice model. And if you're younger and you're a foose fan, it might have some play value. The wheels roll pretty nicely, better than a GMP, and it's a really cool piece. Even has the full throttle logo right there. Very cool hemisphere. Nice model. Very awesome piece. And then this is in the original green color that Foose is famous for doing a lot of his cars in. It is a very cool piece if you like Chip Foose and you like the history behind him. I would definitely recommend picking this up. I wouldn't knock this model any points for authenticity. Has a nice shiny green paint job. If you like shiny paint, you are going to love these full throttle models. And especially I want to get the rock rigs. They are very cool. And the hemisphere is a pretty rare piece to have in a collection. But it's not the only Foose piece, and I'm going to put this right back on my shelf because I like displaying her with my Tom Taylor cars, and they are certainly a little bit more detailed than those Tom Taylor. I forget the company. It's not Classic Metalworks. I think it's something else. I think it's Hawk models. It's certainly more detailed than the Hawk models. Show rods. Here is Impression, a car that I think needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever, and it is one of the cooler Foose hot rods built. And he always said if you would cut this car, it would look like the V8 logo, which I can definitely see that. Very cool piece indeed, especially when you get it in raw metal. I had to re-glue this top on. That kind of irked me. I got the guy to partially refund it. It has this little notch right here where one of the little pegs came off the top. Does irk me somewhat, but if I can find a way to fill that gap, that would be great. But still does not detract from this model's beauty, and it is a very nice model. Now, maybe people are saying I didn't give enough love to the GTO by Hot Wheels, but these certainly have a lot more detail than that car did. And that was a 1/18th scale. I can say these have a lot more detail than the Hot Wheels, some of the 1/18th Hot Wheels. I'm going to open the hood, and you can see a very nice V8 done here with the cross ram, with the intake ram, the plenum. You can see there's wiring right here. So they have done a good deal underneath this hood to simulate the motor, which is really well done. I'm actually very happy with this depth level of detailing and 1/20th scale. It could be a whole engine block. That's about the only thing I can say. It could have steering, but that's a minor thing. For a Foose car, it's pretty cool. I like Impression a lot, actually. Impression is actually probably one of my more favorite cars that Foose has done in recent years. Check out the interior, guys. Very nicely done. A lot less plain than the hemisphere. I don't know if you can see in there. It's hard with the suicide door to kind of see that steering wheel. The steering wheel is pretty darn cool. They did a good job detailing this out. So Impression, actually, the interior I like a little bit better on Impression, to be honest with you. Don't know what it is. Impression just has a cooler interior. Look at that. If you can score these for $50, pick them up. If you're able to score these less than 100, buy them. I'm trying to get the trunk open right now here. If the trunk will actually cooperate with me. Here is the trunk. A little bit of detailing. Got a nice little bit of gray there. Going to be no flocking inside of it, but it's nicely done up nonetheless. Nice Foose wheels. Of course, that of course has to be the signature of these full throttle lines. Getting the wheels correct, of course, I'm pretty sure this is where a lot of the money went to on this line, was getting those wheels licensed and correct. And I can't say a lot of the money didn't go into other things too, but I can say the wheels are probably the most authentic thing on this model. As far as the interior and the engine bay goes, that's definitely authentic. Let's look at the underside here. And yes, sure, it might be a little plain, but all in all, it is nice. You can actually see the front of the motor there, and you can kind of see through. I think if I open the hood, you can almost see through the motor, which is nice. And there's some reasonable detailing underneath here. It's not going to be like amazingly well done, but it is still a very cool car, and it is still a very much a part of Foose history, and it is still a part of my collection I want to keep. And yes, I have seen this car in person, and I knew exactly what I was expecting getting into this line, so I didn't expect too much out of their 1/20th scale. But all in all, these models are great for Foose enthusiasts, and they have not been conquered by any other company. So if you want a budget Foose car, you want something cool to go in your collection, you're not going to find anything else other than this line. I'm sorry to say that, but you're not going to be finding anything else in the price point for $40 or $50. They originally went for $25 or $30, I think. So you're not going to find anything in that price point. So the Chip Foose full throttle line is worth looking into. But the only two I wanted were the Hemisphere and the Impression. I can't say I wanted the Super Stallion. I had looked at a Chevelle at the consignment store, but personally, I'm glad I had waited, and I'm glad I invested in the Hemisphere and the Impression, because those are the ones that are worth waiting for, and those are the ones that are going to be significant. If you're just going to get one of the regular muscle cars, they're not going to be as significant. So what do I give these models as far as scale 1 to 10? I'm going to say a good 7.5 to 8.5. They're reasonably detailed models, but I would say don't spend like $400 like they're asking for them, because if you spend $400 on those pieces, you're going to wind up being a little disappointed for the detail level. But they are nice for the $50 I paid a piece for them. That might seem like a lot. I probably could have waited for a flea market sale or something, but if you can score them below $50, good luck to you on that, because Chip Foose stuff is hot and it is going for a lot of money. But anyway, that being said, just remember to proceed with caution when spending money on if you like Foose. But I will tell you that is the only version of the not the Gambler, but the I was thinking of my M2 machines, but the Gambler has been done before, and also M2 machines is now doing the Gambler. So if you want some cars that aren't really going to get touched in that scale, I would say the Hemisphere and the Impression are probably worth $50 at least. You can get them for less than that, I'd say go for them. They are some very cool Foose pieces, and I have a feeling not a lot of companies are going to be doing that scale again. So it is worth getting those two for $50. For $100 for both of them, I can't complain. They're nice. Besides having the one issue with the top being loose in the package, I got a partial refund, so technically I got them for under $100. Not bad. So make sure you check out my channel, JMan63. Have a good one, my fellow J-Rods. I'm signing out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.